Hey, I guess you want to follow along on one of my workouts. I would love that. But I think there are some basic rules we need to establish and things we should go over first. So let's do that. Your safety is my #1 priority when making these workouts. So please, go see your physician if you have any underlying heart conditions before performing one of these workouts. To monitor your heart rate throughout the workout, if you have an Apple Watch or a wearable, that's preferable.
While we're on the note of safety, remember, I can't physically fix your form if I'm not with you in person. So I need you to replicate these movement patterns to the best of your ability with perfect form. You're going to also hear audible cues. So if you have headphones in loud environments, it's going to help you understand what you should and shouldn't be doing.
To get the most out of these workouts, simply set your phone or tablet up, follow along with the instructions and try to keep pace, and just work hard. Some workouts might use equipment where it's unsafe to watch the video while trying to perform the exercise at the same time. So for these, I advise watch the video, then rewind, set your phone up off to the side, and then perform the exercise while only listening to the audible cues. Use your own best judgment for this. Oof, that made things awkward.
And that's essentially it. Follow these workouts, work as hard as you possibly can, and on a week-to-week basis, make sure you're thinking of increasing one variable like weight or reps or tempo or something. The last thing I want to say is just a thank you. The fact that you're here with me today tells me that you're willing to dedicate energy and time to try to better yourself, and the fact that you're using me as a resource to do so really does mean a lot. So thank you with all my heart, and enjoy your workout. Welcome. Today we're going to be performing an upper body focused workout with virtually no equipment of some of my favorite basic movement patterns that you can perform from almost anywhere. The only pieces of equipment we're going to need today are going to be a lacrosse ball, as well as a resistance band and a door attachment where you can set up in any doorway you are. Without further ado, let's get going with this upper body focused workout. Before we get started with today's workout, I want us to do a little soft tissue work to help promote blood flow, just help us be more effective with some of the musculature we're trying to work today in our upper body, especially the tissue in our delts that get really tight. So we're going to start there. So we're going to need a lacrosse ball or a large myofascial release ball to start today, super easy to travel with. We're going to be laying face down. Again, from all the sitting that we do and backpacks we wear, especially traveling, putting a bag over us, the tissue of our pecs and delt get really, really tight. So we're going to start by laying face down. I'm going to take one arm, place it behind my back, and then put the lacrosse ball right on the front of my delt. Now, you might find tissue that's extremely tender right away, but the goal is to roll around, make small circles, find a spot that's tender. When you do, we're just going to chicken wing the elbow down and pull it all the way up, again, while taking deep breaths. That's super important here. We're going to do 45 seconds per side. Maybe I make small circles. I lift my elbow up the whole time as I do this. Again, if you find a spot, stay right there. Tissue, when it's not hydrated, it's kind of like or it's not healthy, it's like a dried sponge. So what we're doing is we're helping enable getting some blood flow into the area, helping us be more effective with our workout. Again, deep breaths, keep looking for a spot that's tender. Again, our posture these days from our lifestyles of sitting, working on the computer, we get really kyphotic, rounded, pulled forward. So this is just a wonderful way for you to be able to improve fluid dynamics in the area. Okay, let's reset, 45 seconds on the other side. Again, this is, we're playing the long game here. This might not make a huge difference today, but again, we need the tissue to be healthy so as we get older, we can keep our shoulders going through the full range of motion that they should be able to go through. Making sure that we can fire the tissue of our back today when we're doing those pulling exercises, because if our shoulders are too tight, we're more likely to round forward. Good, our internal rotators are too strong, we can't fire our external rotators. We're more likely to hurt our shoulder when we're doing certain things. Think you got to put your bag overhead in the bin when you're on a plane. If you don't have adequate shoulder mobility or strength in the right musculature, your risk of hurting your shoulder while you do that activity is dramatically increased. So again, we need to think of, what applicable ways on a day-to-day basis of us training is going to correlate into our real life as we're traveling. So next up, I want us to work on our rear delt, our infraspinatus, more tight tissue. We're going to lay on our side now. I'm going to take the lacrosse ball right on the back of my shoulder, kind of where my shoulder meets my lat. I'm going to lay on my side, and I'm going to put the lacrosse ball right there. From here, I'm gonna lay on my side and try to press my weight down on the ball. And then from here, I'm gonna start another timer for 45 seconds. I just wanna go into internal rotation of my hand, and then again, go into external. I'm taking deep breaths as I go through this process. You can kind of use your other hand to assist in each direction. But again, I have a lot of my weight pressing down on this ball. If you don't feel a good spot, keep rolling around again, close to your rear delt. It's right on the side of my shoulder. I'm just searching for that tender tissue. Internal, external rotation. So important, again, that we stretch our internal rotators and we work on strengthening external rotation. Deep breaths. Again, might be really tender tissue, but again, this is going to help us a lot as far as being able to activate the tissue of our back and strengthen our external rotators. Help our posture over time. Okay, switch sides. Very frequently, people hurt their shoulders while they're in the gym. We do too much pressing nowadays, especially us men. You know, we want to work on those vanity muscles, and we just don't do enough work of taking care of the tissue that gets really tight. Reset the timer. And this is one of the best ways, again, that we can promote some blood flow and just learn about our body in the process. Maybe one side feels like we have less range of motion than the other. Maybe we have more tender tissue on one side because we're overactive on that side more frequently. So just use this as a good learning lesson for your body. Deep breaths. Again, maybe you make small circles, find a new spot. Oof, right there. Today we're going to be doing a lot of pushing and pulling exercises with a band. It's great. We're just going to set it up in a doorway, pull, push, and we're going to work on just a bunch of upper body movement patterns. And this is going to help us feel better if we've been flying or traveling, help promote blood flow, and again, most importantly, just keep us in a good routine. Almost done, a few extra seconds, and we are good. All right. That finishes up our soft tissue work. Now we're going to move on to some activation and movement prep work. So I'll see you there in a second. All right, moving on to the movement prep for our upper body. We just want to quickly try to warm up the tissue of our shoulders to make sure the external rotators are firing properly from when we do some of those movement patterns. The only thing we're going to need here today is going to be a resistance band for this movement prep. The first thing we're going to do is shoulder floss. I want you to be extremely careful if you're someone who has shoulder pain or you just do not have good shoulder mobility. The first thing I want you to do is take your resistance band and pull it all the way apart, okay? I want you to have as much tension pulled apart as you possibly can to start to make this easier. From here, I'm going to take the band and go over my head with locked out elbows, that's important, and then bring it all the way behind my lower back. We're going to do 15 repetitions with a nice and controlled pace. Again, from the side, I pull the band apart all the way behind me. Deep breaths. Now again, like I said before, you need to have this band's tension pulled apart. If this is too hard and you have to bend your elbows, this is not as effective. If it's too easy, you can move your hands closer together, pull the band apart, and make it a little more challenging. I want you to slowly and safely take your shoulders through a large range of motion and just get some blood flow into that tissue that we worked on loosening up before. So 15 reps here. Again, we barely take our shoulders through ranges of motion on a day-to-day basis. We sit with kyphotic rounded posture. This is a great way to quickly take them through ranges of motion that we don't normally get into. Deep breaths, again, a couple more straight on. All right, good. Next up, we're gonna do some wall angels. We're gonna walk over to a wall, okay? I'm gonna use this as not necessarily a wall, but it's better for the view of you guys. We're gonna walk over to a wall, put our butt and upper back and head against that wall. From there, I try to get my elbows to 90 degrees. I go in external rotation. I touch my hands against the wall, metaphorical wall here. Then from here, I press my arms all the way over my head, locking my elbows out, again touching the wall the entire time. I come all the way back down. We're gonna do 15 repetitions here. This is a wonderful way to also assess your shoulder range of motion to know where you stand. If you cannot get your elbows and arms back against the wall in the bottom position, you lack external rotation. We need to stretch out those tight internal rotators and strengthen those external rotators. If you can't lock your elbows all the way out overhead, you lack shoulder flexion. We might need to loosen up some of the tissue of your lats and then start working on thoracic extension. And again, just work on getting you into a healthier, better position overhead. This just goes to show any shoulder dysfunction that you might have. Deep breaths. And if you do, I have protocol videos for shoulder flexion and external rotation under the mobility and corrective section. So please go check those out in your free time. Deep breaths, 15 reps. Keep rubbing those hands against the wall. It's gonna feel like you're holding 20, 50-pound weights in your hand. And if you can't do this without load with perfect form, we should not be loading your body before we can do this perfectly. Almost there. And last one. Beautiful. Okay, nice and slow when we do those. Last thing we want to do, I want us to do some scap push-ups. Today we're going to be doing a lot of pulling, in which we're going to have to retract our shoulder blades. So I want us to practice that. So from a kneeling push-up position, I want us to think about letting our chest fall to the ground and not bending our elbows and pinch our shoulder blades. And then from here, we press ourselves away from the ground and we separate them as much as we can. As I do this, I don't let my lower back arch. I think of a tight belly, posterior tilt. I squeeze my butt. Again, torso falls to the ground. Press myself away. We're going to be doing 10 repetitions here. Deep breaths every time. Again, this is super important for when we're doing our pulling work. This bottom position is scapular retraction. That's so important. Also, when we're doing push-ups, this bottom position we need to maintain. We don't want to internally rotate. We need to keep those shoulder blades back and down. It's going to keep our shoulder in a much more stable position, lowering our risk of injury and increasing the potential of using the right musculature. I'm going to do one extra for good luck. And whew, there you have it. My shoulders are on fire. We promoted some blood flow quickly, and now we're ready to effectively work out our upper body. So I'll see you in a second for our first circuit of exercises. Let's get this workout started. We have 3 exercises we're going to perform in a row. When we're done doing all 3 of them, you get a short rest, and then you're going to perform this circuit 2 more times after that, but just without the audible cues. You're just going to watch and follow along, so pay attention here. The only equipment we're going to need here is going to be a resistance band that's set up in a doorway at about chest height. The first movement pattern we're going to perform is going to be a split stance banded row. We're going to work our back, strengthen that tissue, and help our posture. We're going to do 15 reps per side. When we're done with that, we're then going to take that resistance band, we're going to throw it around our waist, and we're going to do some assisted push-ups. We're going to do this from a kneeling position if we're not strong enough. If we are, we can do normal push-ups. We're going to go for 15 to 12 repetitions there, whatever we can do. If it's not even 12, just work as hard as you can and mark down how many you do. When we're done with that, we're then going to work on doing a Pallof Press. We are then going to be in a standing position, resisting the urge of rotation, pressing our hands away from ourselves to work our obliques and our core. We're going to do 12 repetitions there as well. So let's get started. Like I said before, we got a resistance band. Set that up if you need to pause the video and come back, do that. We're going to set that up at about chest height. We want to stand far enough back because it is a resistance band. It's going to get more challenging when we walk away. We want to get far enough back, then when we get into our split stance position and when we row the weight, it feels like, you know, after 12, 15 repetitions is going to get challenging. We want to have our back foot's heel elevated off the floor. We want to make sure that we start by retracting our shoulder blade and depressing it. And we want to pull our hand to our chest, pinch our shoulder blade, and then stretch our arm all the way out forward. Now, I'm explosive when I pull and I pinch, but I'm slow on the way forward. Again, this is a band. We can only make it so challenging. So I want you to slow the time under tension down as we do these 15 repetitions. I'm thinking of keeping my elbow close to my side. I'm not letting it flare out, right next to me. Deep breaths. I got a slight bend to this front leg. My back leg is almost locked out. My belly is tight. I'm engaging my core. I'm not rotating with this band. We get to do a little anti-rotation work here as well. Most important part, we do not round forward. We retract that shoulder blade in that final position. We want to make sure we're working our back out. I finish low with my hand under my chest. We don't want to work our bicep. Now, if you're finished already, the time under tension was probably too fast. We want to slow those repetitions down. I switch my feet. Better view of the shoulder here. I pull, I retract again. No internal rotation. Retract down and back. Stretch all the way out. 15 total. Today we're doing upper body. We're going to be doing pushing and pulling with some core work. Again, this is a great travel workout. We barely need any equipment for this. Keeping us in a good, consistent routine of taking care of our health, which is going to make sure that we think about how we eat. Our nutrition is going to be a little better. We might focus more on sleep. We'll probably sleep better because we're a little more exhausted from physically exerting ourselves. Promote blood flow since we've been sitting around, traveling, whether it's a plane, airplane, a boat, a car, a train, whatever it may be. A boat would be a cool one. I guess you're on a cruise then, which I'm going to go with. Message and post something in the community board if you're doing this on a cruise ship, because I don't foresee that happening in the near future, and if it does, that means the community's grown. Because not too many folks I know that take cruises on the regular. Maybe I'll do a cruise ship edition of these. Maybe I'll get on a cruise and do one from the deck. Work with Carnival or something. All right, next, we finished the 15 up. Again, I'm taking the resistance band, and I'm going to place it around my waist. Now from here, I'm going to walk away, and now I'm getting assistance from the resistance band. So I'm in a kneeling push-up position. I pick up my feet behind myself. I then allow my chest to fall to the ground. I then press myself all the way up. I retract my shoulder blades at the bottom, and I protract them at the top. We're going to do 12 to 15 repetitions. I think of elbows close by my side. I pinch my shoulder blades here. I don't want to round forward. Retract. Press all the way up and away. I'm controlled on the way down, and I explode on the way up. Again, we want to think of that external rotation. That's the elbows coming in by our side. If this is too easy, you can lock those hips out. Do normal. Deep breaths. Get whatever you can. If you can't do 12, what we can do is do a slow repetition, and then you can cheat. You can kind of wiggle your way back up, and then do another slow, controlled rep. Cheat, push your hips back. Whatever you need to do, again, to make this challenging for whatever your current strength level is. Last one, and good. Whew. Okay, now that Pallof press. So I'm going to take this band, get out of it, be careful. Okay, now I'm standing. I'm going to get a nice wide base of support. From here, I'm going to squeeze my butt in my belly, stand tall. I'm going to slowly press my arms away from myself. I'm standing lateral, so I'm resisting the band rotating me. I slowly bring the band back to my chest. 12 repetitions, going back and forth. Breathe, deep breaths. I'm not rushing, right? I'm not elevating one shoulder blade. I'm not finishing with bent arms. I lock out. When I pull back, I pinch my shoulder blades. Nice and slow, I get to work my obliques and my core. Again, through more anti-rotation. Almost there. You might feel this a little in your chest just because those push-ups are right before it. Last one. And good, okay. Turn around, do it this way. Again, slowly press those arms out. Just make sure you're lateral to the object. This isn't gonna do me any good. That's a pulling exercise. I wanna be right to the side of whatever I'm attaching this to. And again, if this is in a doorway, hopefully the doorway closes in this direction. That way no one can open it on you and hit you. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Breathe. Almost there. Again, one of my favorite core exercises here. Doesn't require much equipment. Ooh. Make sure everything's symmetrical. And good. Whew. There you have it. First grouping of exercises done. We're going to take a short rest. Come on back for the next circuit, but you got a couple more rounds of this. See you in a minute. Circuit number 2, again, we got 3 exercises we're gonna perform together. When we're done performing all 3, you get a short rest. The only piece of equipment we're gonna need here is gonna, again, be a resistance band set up in a doorway. Now, instead of having it at chest height, I advise you having it a little higher, maybe at head height in the doorway. The first movement pattern we're gonna perform is gonna be a banded kneeling pull down. We're just gonna be doing a pull down like we would be doing almost a single arm lat pull down or a pull up, right, a vertical pull. We're gonna be doing 15 repetitions on each side. When we're done doing that, we're then gonna do a standing split stance press with that band from a high to low position. Great way to work our chest. 15 repetitions there as well. When we're finished doing that, we're then gonna do a high to low wood chop. We're gonna be in a standing position. We're gonna grab the weight from up high, turn, reach toward our opposite foot, and again, work our core through a little rotational work. We got 15 repetitions there as well. So we got 15 reps of each of these. So let's get started. Like I said before, the first movement pattern we're gonna perform is gonna be that pull down. Whatever knee is down on the ground is gonna be the arm that's pulling. The first thing I wanna do is I wanna get a slight lean forward. I want to use my elbow to support myself to have good posture on my other arm, and I wanna turn this into a vertical pull. So my arm is reaching up over my head. When I pull down, I finish right next to my shoulder. Again, I stretch all the way up next to my ear. Pinch that shoulder blade. I keep my elbow nice and tight to my side. We're doing 15 repetitions. If you need to move further back to make this harder, please be my guest. Again, slow on the way up, controlled. Stretch out the arm all the way, lengthen out that tissue. Deep breaths. Make sure we depress our shoulder blade. We're not rounded internally. I'm pushing everything down. When I stretch up, I don't let it pull my shoulder blade out of position as well. My elbow stays close to my side. I'm not pulling it out wide. And I think of really squeezing my lat, nice and low on my lat. It's gonna help, again, build some muscle on our back, help burn calories. Our back is the second biggest muscle in our body. It's gonna help our posture. 4, deep breaths, deep breaths. And 5, that's 15, good. Okay, let's switch sides. Again, half kneeling position, leaning forward, get that arm overhead, pull, pinch, nice and slow, reaching up. We gotta get creative if we're traveling, and one of the easiest things we can do is we just change our body position to work different musculature out. And again, here at least we get to stretch our arm vertically overhead, decompress our shoulder with it getting pulled by this band a little bit, help build some tissue and help our posture, and just have some fun with it. Give us a little more exercise variety. Again, make sure you got a neutral spine. We're not rounding with bad posture. I'm pulling my chest up as I'm leaning forward on my leg. Really squeeze at the bottom. If you don't have enough band, you can hold that bottom position for a longer duration of time. Maybe do less repetitions because of it. Almost done. And last one. Beautiful, it's burning. Okay, next, we got this band set up high to low. I'm gonna now get into a split stance position facing the other way, okay? I probably want the band to be around my arm. I think that's gonna be more comfortable than it being on the outside, okay? From here, I take my shoulder blade down and back. Boom, I'm in a good position. Now from here, I'm gonna press this arm all the way forward, lock out, protract my shoulder blade. When I pull it back, I bring it all the way to my chest. Same thing, elbow back, shoulder blade retracted. Press all the way forward, deep breath out, all the way to my chest. We're gonna do 15 repetitions here. I'm getting a call from spam. These guys don't leave you alone. It's unbelievable how many people call me from spam. I don't know what I put my phone number in, but spam gets me all day, every day. Again, retract at that back position, explode, 15 reps here. If you want to make this harder, you can go more into a split squat, work your lower body out. But again, I have all my weight shifted forward. Retract, pinch that shoulder blade, explode. 15 per side. Again, I'm pushing at the same angle as the band. I'm not pressing up top here. I'm trying to follow the same angle that's natural for this band to be going in. Starting to get tired here, last one. Boom, good. Switch sides now, get my arm through. Switch the legs, okay. Shoulder blades back and down, good position to start from. Press. Nice tight belly. Again, I'm doing some resisting here of rotation. Nice strong finish at the end, making sure I lock my elbow out. Deep breaths. Again, I get a lot of stability work in this front leg because my back heel is off of the ground. Almost there. Last two. Feel it burning in my chest and in my shoulder. And 15, good. Okay, next. From a standing position, I'm gonna go from reaching up top to reaching down by my left knee. I reach back up top, down by my left knee. Now, as I turn and I reach, I'm thinking of shifting my weight a little bit over to the side. I'm not bending my knees at all. My elbows are straight. I'm doing 15 repetitions here. Again, I have a slight high to low chop here. Again, I'm trying to find the natural angle of this band. Now, depending on how high you have the band up, if you have it really high, you'll have a more aggressive line. But I'm not bending my knees. I'm just trying to initiate with my core. I'm not pulling with my arms. I'm initiating with my core, and at that bottom position, I squeeze. I really feel it in the side of my core, in my obliques. Almost there. Last one. And 15. Okay, opposite side. Again, legs locked out. I've reached down. I have a neutral spine. I'm not rounding with bad posture. That's so important here. Deep breaths. Hold that end position and slow the band down. Explode, but when you get to that final position, be slow on the way up. That's where you'll do most of the benefit for your core. If you're a golfer, you can think of the angle of attack you're trying to hit on your golf ball. This might help with strengthening some of that. Turn my hips a little bit. But I really try to squeeze my arms close to my body. Last two. And make sure you are rotating with your core and you're not doing this work with your arms. But there you have it. There's our next round and grouping of exercises. Take a short rest. We're going to come back, do another round or two, and I'll see you at the next grouping of exercises. Good stuff. Keep up the hard work.
Together, finding you was a missing part.
Congratulations, third, final circuit, last grouping of exercises. We're getting more isolated. It's gonna burn some small tissue in your shoulder here, working on shoulder health. The only piece of equipment we're gonna need is a light resistance band. We will no longer need this on a doorway, so take it out of that attachment. The first movement pattern we're gonna perform is a banded pull-apart overhead press. We're gonna take our shoulders through flexion, work on some mobility and range of motion, while also work on strengthening those external rotators that get weak on us. We're gonna do 15 reps there. When we're done with that, we're gonna work our rear delts and some of our upper back by doing a banded pull-apart. Again, this is a great way to work on shoulder health and work on posture. 15 repetitions there. When we're done with that, we are going to do a variation of a banded curl, but we're gonna make and spice it up with a little external rotation of our shoulders to work on shoulder health and make this a little bit more functional. So I'm excited to show you that one. So first things first, I'm gonna get into a kneeling position so it's a little more advantageous from the camera's perspective. I'm gonna grab our resistance band and I'm gonna pull apart tension until I feel like my shoulders are working and I can feel those external rotators. From here, the band starts below my chin. As I'm keeping this tension pulled apart, I press my arms overhead. I finish with them directly over my head. They're not out in front of me. If you lack this shoulder mobility, make your hands wider. I'm gonna keep that tension throughout, press my arms overhead, bring it back down. I'm gonna do 15 repetitions with a slow pace. Now, while I'm here, I'm squeezing my butt in my belly. I am not arching my lower back, right? I'm trying to stay upright, brace my core, and this is gonna burn. We're gonna work the small musculature of our shoulders, take our shoulders through a long range of motion. This is gonna benefit you in a lot of ways outside of just building muscle. We're gonna work a lot of that small tissue that gets injured on a lot of folks. Keep it going. 15 total, it burns, almost there. 10, don't speed it up, fight it. 12, almost there, deep breaths. Keep pulling apart, don't let that tension go. Think hands wider than elbows when I'm pulling this apart, right? My hands are wider, they're not collapsing in. And 15, oof, okay. Shoulders are burning. Next up, I'm gonna do a banded pull apart. With the band out in front of me, I'm gonna pull the band apart until it touches my chest. 3 seconds on the way in. I reset, pull apart, touch my chest. Again, this is a great way to work your upper back, your rear delts. And again, just work on shoulder health and posture. Deep breaths. Now, depending on the band, this might be extremely challenging. Maybe you don't double it up and you just do the top half if you need to, right? Whatever you need to do to make this most effective. Again, 15 total reps. I'm gonna keep it doubled up. We're almost there anyway. 10, again, I have a neutral spine, right? I'm not arching my back. I'm not doing this too quick. I'm trying to slow and control it. We got 3 more. 14, last one. Ooh, definitely getting more isolated, working smaller tissue out, but that's great for, again, shoulder health. Third, final thing, I'm gonna step inside of this band. I'm gonna have an overhand grip, and I'm gonna pull the band apart a little bit. From here, I pull my shoulder blades back and down. I curl it up to 90 degrees. Now, step 1, I'm gonna pull the band apart with my elbows tucked in by my side. Do not let them flare out. Pull the band apart in external rotation. I curl up, I maintain, I come down, I reset. I pull apart, curl up, down, reset. 15 total. Nice and slow. Again, shoulder blades down and back as we're doing this. My shoulders are burning from all those other exercises we just did. Again, let me show you from the side. Shoulder blades down and back, curl up. I pull the band apart, curl. I stop where there's still 90 degrees of tension. That way my biceps are consistently working. I'm getting to work those external rotators by pulling my hands apart. Ooh, my shoulders are burning. Let me show you from the front again. We got 6 more. Again, shoulder blades down and back, pull apart, curl, slow, reset. Pull apart. Keep those elbows tucked in. Again, we get to work our arms out, we get to work our biceps, but at the same time, we're working on shoulder health, which is so much more important than an isolated exercise like a bicep curl. 2 more. Pull apart, curl, and again, constant tension. I'm isometrically working my biceps from this position. Woo! And that's it, guys. There's our workout for the day. We're gonna do 2 more rounds of that. Keep working hard. Congrats, you're almost there. And I'm gonna see you at the finish line to finish out the workout. Keep working hard. That's it. Congrats. You're finished for today. You worked on your upper body. You worked through so many important ranges of motion. You built some strength, worked on muscle. This is wonderful if you've been sitting for a long duration of time. We promoted blood flow everywhere. And again, the most important thing is you stayed consistent. If you did this while you were traveling, you should feel great. Go back to vacation. Go back to doing work when you're abroad or wherever you are. Again, thank you so much for working hard today. I really look forward to seeing your progress in the future. Take care. See you soon.